In this 6-video series we will cover why you should pick a certain class, and I help you to figure out if the Necromancer fits your playstyle. So in general, the Necromancer is best described as a skinwalker from The Walking Dead that can rise his own zombie army. The Necromancer is using his own blood and the blood of the enemies to his advantage and dominates the battlefield with his army of summons, and everyone fears the blood golem he can control. He usually wears a two-handed scythe, looking like the Grim Reaper, or a one-handed weapon paired with a shield, making him look like a long-fallen knight. The Necromancer has a set of 4 basic skills that, unlike other classes, allow him to generate resources, and the resources of the Necromancer is called Essence, which then can be used to cast more powerful skills. Something special here is the access to blood orbs with the skill Hemorrhage that allows a unique pick-up playstyle. So basically, if you use this skill, you have a chance that a blood orb will spawn on the ground, and you have to adjust your own positioning to pick up those orbs to get the full benefit. So this makes it unique in the way the Necromancer moves on the map. The Necromancer's class speciality is the Book of the Dead, where he can choose what kind of summons he likes to rise from the dead. His options are 2 different kinds of skeletons. You have ranged skeletons and you have melee skeletons. The ranged skeletons are more like a mage, and the melee ones are more like a Reaper style. And he also has a golem that can be drenched in either blood or bones, depending on your preparation. But you can also choose to sacrifice your summons like a real Satanist and get passive buffs instead that can boost your gameplay by a lot. Next in the skill tree, we will find the 5 core skills. Just to mention 2 popular ones from the beta, there was the Bone Spear that allowed for massive single target DPS, annihilating elite packs in a glimpse of a second. Also we gain access here to the skill Blood Surge, which is a high AoE damage that even has the possibility to heal yourself. So it is a skill that deals damage, has AoE, and has a built-in sustain mechanic. So pretty powerful right there. Those are then followed by Macabre skills, and this is also a point where one of the biggest weaknesses of the Necromancer lays. He has no access to high mobility skills. The best option at the moment to get out of difficult situations is the skill Blood Mist, that allows you to become immune for 3 seconds and buys you time to actually reposition yourself on the map in a less dangerous situation. In the next section of the skill tree, we find the Corruption skills, which are basically huge area of effect skills that allow you to either apply a good amount of CC and reduce the incoming damage you are taking, or they will allow you to find another way to sustain your life and even boost your essence generation. These are then followed by the Summoning skills, where the name is a bit misleading and you actually gain access to CC skills that, for example, allow you to pull all enemies into the open mouth of a corpse, and that lets you follow up with one of your heavy AoE abilities. So this is a fairly nice playstyle. You can basically group the monsters on one spot and all of your AoE will always hit the monsters. It's really powerful. This only gets topped then by the ultimate skills, which are really powerful, but on the other end also have extremely long cooldowns. Here the most popular one is Bone Storm, a skill that surrounds you in a hurricane of bones that deals massive amounts of damage. But here's the real fun. It also surrounds your summoned golem into the same hurricane, allowing you to deal twice as much damage with the correct positioning. Then the tree ends in 4 different key passives that are good indicators for new players, as an example, to determine in which direction a working build can go. Well, let's take a look at 2 different ones. Ossified Essence, for example, is your choice to go if you like the bone theme, as it boosts all of your bone skills no matter what skill it is. If it's bone related, you're getting a boost. On the other hand, Rudmor's Vigor is your choice to go if you want to focus on blood spells with a mix of more survivability and increased damage. We've already talked about the blood orbs, the blood surge, so all of this is going to be boosted by Radma's Vigor right there. Now let's sum up what we just heard and bring it into the strengths and weaknesses of the Necromancer. The Necromancer is probably the class with the most unique playstyles available if we think about the blood orb generation. Also, it's one of the classes with the highest access to heavy AoE damage spells that can cover your whole screen. On top of this, he has many skills that allow him to sustain really long fights without ever needing to use multiple potions. So you are not like tanky because you have like insane amount of health pool or whatever. You just get your tankiness based on being able to sustain. So if you build your character around not getting one shot, this is a really nice way to go and access the sustain right there. But we also need to mention that the Necromancer can often feel terrible to play if you don't get creative to always have enough corpses available for your summons. There are some ways to get around it with decompose and stuff like this, but you have to be creative because the Necromancer to many players feels terrible if there's not enough corpses available. And now that we already mentioned the summons, it's often the case that those are not good in the late game and get outscaled. So be aware that if you're playing the Necromancer in the late game, it can happen that you cannot play a summon build. While the Necromancer is a really easy to play class, to actually master it, you need to get really good at your resource management, the timing of your skills, and your positioning, because you don't have an oh shit button like a big mobility skill that can just bring you out of danger in a glance. But to sum it up, the weaknesses of the Necromancer are definitely handleable, and if played to perfection, you will enjoy the class of Diablo 4 that has access to the most pets. And now to my personal final recommendation. I personally think that Necromancers are for players that have not a lot of experience in ARPGs. It's the perfect starter class to get into the game. Like I've already said, you can play this class with almost no knowledge of the game. Your summons will help you so much in the early game, especially because they can tank for you, so your positioning doesn't matter too much, but in the late game, you still need to reach a skill cap. So it's not a class that's only for noobs, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's the most beginner-friendly class, because you will not have to deal with as many monsters at the same time as with other classes. On top of this, it has a nice variety of AoE damage and single target DPS, and it will never make it feel like, if you're building correctly, that your build is only suitable for AoE farming or for boss fighting. You can always get a build going that is good for both. And of course, if you enjoy huge area of effect damage with nice animations that cover the whole screen, make the world feel like it's raining blood and bones, you should pick the Necromancer. And just here to mention, the Corpse Explosion is by far the most popular skill of the whole Diablo 4 franchise, and that's only available for the Necromancer. And if you have any more questions about the Necromancer, let me know in the comments. I will always answer everything in less than 24 hours. And if you want to discuss your choice of builds, I highly recommend joining my Discord server to meet like-minded people. And the last thing before this video ends, on the 4th of June, when I'm coming home from my vacation, I will start live streaming daily on Twitch with a new concept. We will play hardcore only, and if I die, this will trigger a community event in which the loyal viewers can earn nice rewards out of the cash shop. So you can win skins, mounts, battle passes, all this kind of stuff. So don't forget to subscribe and follow to not miss out. Cheers!